Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back to the Starcraft 2 Ownage Shack. It's David here bringing you another Starcraft 2 commentary, and today, as promised, we are going to be looking at a mirror matchup. And for the first mirror matchup in my set of 3 that I plan to cast, it's going to be a Terran versus Terran. We're going to have LiquidTLO as the purple Terran at the bottom right position here on Delta Quadrant. TLO is a very good player. He is a 3600 Terran player, although I think he's been playing random lately, so very multifaceted player, capable of owning with all 3 races, more so Terran and Zerg than Protoss, however. And he is German, and if you don't know him, go check out his games. Probably one of the most creative players. We can already see he's got a very creative placement of his supply depot there, right in the mineral line, so check this crazy beast out. And his opponent is going to be SjoW, another player that I have cast. He's the red Terran at the top left position, and he is a 3500 Terran player from Sweden, also extremely good, and he's known for his lack of scouting early game. Hopefully he does not disprove me with this SCV. No, he's just going to be throwing down his barracks at the usual time here. The 12 barracks, probably going to be into a 13 gas. We can see on the production tab, both players are almost pretty much identical in the building timings. Looks like SjoW is going to be getting his refinery up about a nanosecond later than the little one. So anyways, it's a Terran versus Terran, and it is on Delta Quadrant, which is a somewhat Terran favored matchup against Protoss and Zerg. So obviously there can be no favoritism in Terran versus Terran since everyone has the same units, so it's going to be cool to see what each player does to gain the advantage. They have spawning cross positions, so air is probably not going to be as likely as it might be if they were close by air. So probably not going to be seeing the Banshee play. That has not been as popular lately as it used to be. I know on the ladder that I've been playing, I am in the Diamond League in case you were wondering, I haven't actually seen any Banshee openings in quite a while in Terran versus Terran, which is very nice because I absolutely hate having to deal with that. So it's going to be pretty cool to see what they do. I think tank play on this map is very strong. There's so many choke points that you can abuse with the siege tanks to maximize the damage that you get via splash. There's even this lovely ledge here, totally abusable with tank drops if your opponent chooses to grab their backdoor expansion, which is actually protected by these destructible debris. So probably not going to be that one. Usually most people go for the front expo first, even though it is slightly less defended. And oh wow, TLO is actually remarking on seeing the SCV scouting of SjoW. He knows that SjoW hates early game scouting, and he is going to laugh it up. A fake scout calls LiquidTLO, trying to psych him out there. I'm assuming this is just a fun match being played by these two. I don't believe it's part of a tournament, but I could be absolutely off mark with that. Anyways, we do have a factory going up for both players. Looks like the little one's factory is slightly ahead of SjoW's, or wait, oh sorry. It's the other way around, guys. SjoW's already putting the tech lab on his factory, and the little one's is almost completing, but that is probably because he opted for the reactor on his barracks, whereas SjoW has not put an add-on on his barracks yet. So we're probably going to be seeing a, oh wow, sick, the Infernal Pre-Igniter for SjoW. Really cool. I've seen this build. It's basically you get one Hellion, and or multiple Hellions with a few Marines, and then you rush the opponent's base before their first tank comes out. So you use the Hellion to deal massive amounts of damage versus these light units with that Infernal Pre-Igniter, and then your Marines, even though they're lesser in number, will easily be able to mop up the injured units. So it's pretty cool strategy. Hope to see him put that into effect. He's only got a limited amount of time though, because as we can see, the tank is already halfway done for TLO, and once that tank is out, these Hellions don't really do anything. We see one is already here, going to be checking up here. He probably might want to just test the front to see what's there. We do have a starport up for both players, I believe. Yep, both here. And okay, good. It's not going to be the Banshee play yet. They're each going for a medevac, so probably going to be seeing maybe a drop, a Hellion drop in the main of LiquidTLO. Since he can't really push up the ramp anymore with this massive force, the drop is probably going to be the best option for SjoW at this point. As for LiquidTLO, I think he's doing exactly what he needs to, pushing out while these forces are weak without a tank of his own. SjoW is going to be pretty vulnerable to the siege tank pressure of LiquidTLO right here. this tank can deal serious damage to the Marines. Even though it doesn't deal bonus damage to light units, it's still extremely hard. It's got a nice amount of HP, and with the medevac healing the Marines, supporting that tank, it should be a pretty sick push. So he's already into the main now, and it looks like he's going to be going for the barracks first. I'd like to see that lift off, cancel those Marines. You don't want to lose this unnecessarily. Looks like some SCVs are going to be coming to try and do some damage, but they get owned fast, and a nice lift off prevents these Hellions from wreaking havoc on those Marines. Another tank is reinforcing, and it looks like this tank is going to be taken out extremely quickly. So the Marines are actually doing insane amounts of damage versus the tank because the rest of them were loaded up in that dropship. He's going to be dropping here, but SjoW's Hellion is easily going to completely roast those to a crisp. As we can see, the barbecued remains of 2 Marines just completely disintegrating on the ramp right there. And it looks like LiquidTLO is in a full-out retreat. He is coming home with his units, and now it looks like SjoW is pissed, and he's out for revenge with his 4 Hellions and a dropship of his own. I don't know what TLO has back here. Not very much, actually. It looks like, oh sweet, SjoW is going to be throwing down an expansion while he has TLO pinned, and this tank has sieged up. Siege mode is now done, and it quickly does some decent damage. Another one is back here. Even some accidental typing is being carried out, and so unfortunate. The tank barely goes down despite having numerous SCVs repairing, and it looks like these final units coming out should be enough to repel these 2 Hellions, but I think the damage has been done, and brutal, losing so many SCVs. If we look at the income tab, he is already down 5 SCVs, and this Hellion, too bad. If he could have just gotten one shot off, a lot of these SCVs were weak and vulnerable to one of those 24 damage dealing Hellions. 3 Marines are probably going to go back without a medevac. They aren't going to do anything here. I don't know why they're here, actually. And it looks like he's going to be getting some Hellions of his own as he, a nice blast from the siege tank, takes out all 3 Marines. And it looks like 2 tanks and 2 Marines are pushing out for a SjoW. We're going to be having some drooling out. The other guy, I guess Drool was lagging, and that's why they wanted him out. If you're in a pro game and you are lagging, just leave, man. Don't make them ask. They get quite annoyed, and I wouldn't want to annoy a pro gamer. No, man. If you want, you need to take advice from them. You can't school them. They school you. So the Hellions are not coming out. He's already got the Infernal Pre-Igniter. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Now he's the one going for mass Hellions, while SjoW has transitioned to tank Viking. The Vikings are going to be very good. They can easily take out the medevac, which looks like it's preparing for a drop. A 3 Hellion drop! Oh, sweet! That could be very effective. And 3 more scoot out while these tanks are sieging up. Very cool. This Marine is probably dead. There he goes, very fast. The dropship is nearing the home base. This could be a 2-pronged attack from LiquidTLO to get him back in this game. He's going to see this expo, and he needs to do insane amounts of damage if he wants a shot. The dropship has landed these Hellions, and they're going to be going for the main, while the ones at the expo have already done a fair amount of damage. So in the main, we see, holy crap, an absolutely massive amount of SCVs just getting fried by the 24 damage dealing infernal flamethrower of these Hellions. Every single SCV at the main has been slaughtered. Wow, very careless micro from SjoW. I can only imagine he was distracted from maneuvering his tanks over here. There's no reason for all of those SCVs to have died. He could have easily pulled back to the natural where his Hellions were remaining. They're even being dropped in the natural now. Oh my god, SjoW might lose every single SCV. He has 6 SCVs left. This is insane. I did not expect to see this turn of events. It's like a base trade, but in the most insane way I've ever seen. 2 tanks are laying siege to this base, which actually has SCVs. I don't know where this game is going right now. I'd have to give TLO the advantage now, since he's the only one with miners. We can see the only 5 SCVs of SjoW are remaining here. He does have a nice stockpile of minerals. He's probably going to invest every single one of those into getting more SCVs. Luckily for Terran, you do have the... oh my god. Shoutcraft is forced to leave. If you don't know Shoutcraft, I believe he's another commentator for Starcraft 2. Check him out if you want. I don't think I was overly impressed with his games, but that's because I'm biased and I like my own casts. So check mine out instead. Anyways, yeah, I have to give TLO an advantage here. He has way more SCVs, but now Hellions are getting caught completely out of position. And it looks like 300 minerals worth of Hellions plus 50 minerals for a Marine are completely destroyed right there. It's going to be tank on tank, and it looks like TLO's tanks are going to come out victorious here, but just barely as he loses 2 to trade with the 2 of SjoW. This is an absolutely crazy game. It looks like another push is coming with landed Vikings, Marines, and 1 medevac. Holy crap! I don't know what's going on anymore. If we look at the units lost, they're actually pretty close. SjoW has indeed lost more units, probably because of all those SCVs he's lost. If we look at the income tab, he's still way behind. About half the SCVs of LiquidTLO right now. The only thing that SjoW has going for him is he has 2 command centers, whereas TLO is just finally getting his expo out. In supply and army supply, we see that TLO is indeed way ahead with his 53 supply to the 39 of SjoW over there. And just so you know, this is I believe 54 army supply versus 42, so not actually, this gap is actually closing pretty quickly. I didn't expect that. I am so impressed with this play. I did not think Hellions were this good in Terran versus Terran. I'm really surprised. Maybe this is the way it's going to be played from now on. We can see more Hellions are doing some damage here. SjoW wisely lifts up the Marines into the medevac to prevent them from getting sniped, but oh man, all the SCVs are getting killed again. More Hellion fire. 1 tank should be able to keep these from doing any more damage, but I don't think there's any more damage to deal, as 2 SCVs are left remaining at the natural. Let's check out the main. Oh god, a drop in the main of Hellions. It quickly mops up these SCVs too. His SCVs are at 6 again. SjoW is getting absolutely dominated by these Hellion drops, and I have to say, if this were a different map, I don't believe this strategy would be so effective. Delta Quadrant has such a massive amount of airspace behind the bases that you really can abuse drops to the max, not to mention this expo where you can land them as well. I'm going to completely ignore the commentary of TLO, who is being somewhat... okay, I said I was going to ignore it, so now I will. Anyways, yeah, the Delta Quadrant really actually allows for these drops so well with these multiple angles you can come in, as well as the massive airspace. Really tons of opportunity to do that. It looks like both armies are about to crash again. This could be an all-in rush from SjoW, and he's walking into a siege line of 3 tanks, instantly loses 1 of his own, and a scan goes down there for give him the vision he needs. Tons of damage being dealt there. A few units are loaded up. It's not even going to matter where this thing drops. If we look at the income tab, yet again we see that 39 harvesters, he'd have to kill a solid 33 if he wanted to even up the supply count in harvesters. The SCVs are going to be enough to prevent this, and 1 tank rolls in to prevent anything else from being done. If he just sieges up there, it's going to be pretty much a GG. And there we see SjoW abusing the airspace himself, but it looks like another drop is coming for TLO, and that Hellion is completely vaporized immediately. So an ineffective drop, but we can see that TLO is clearly leading the game right now. I would have to say he's in an absolutely insurmountable position right now. I don't believe there's a way SjoW can come back. I would recommend a GG very soon. The SCVs are actually going to be healing up these tanks. Very nice in protecting his investments right there. Very crucial thing to do in Starcraft 2. If you invested all this money into these units, you got to make them worth as much as they can be. And by healing them, you essentially save yourself 150 and 125 for a new tank. So very nice to see that. And here comes the push of doom. I believe a drop is going on here. It's not even going to freaking matter at this point. There's nothing left at the main here of SjoW except for a handful of MMM. And it looks like the tanks are just going to be pushing right up, forcing the GG out of SjoW. So a very sweet Terran versus Terran play here. This almost reminded me of the Brood War style of Terran versus Terran, with the mass vulture, mass tank. And obviously there aren't vultures here in StarCraft 2, but the Hellions are a somewhat mediocre substitute. They do the same damage. They do the extra to light like vultures did. However, they don't have those lovely spider mines. But anyways, a sweet new style of Terran versus Terran has been displayed in this game. I really think that's exciting to see the evolution of StarCraft 2. If you were as excited as I am and you enjoyed this cast, please give me a good thumbs up if you desire, and subscribe if you want to see some more. So thanks again, guys, and hope to see you again for another Daily Dose of Ownage.